Welcome everybody to another weekly episode of WWE Monday Night Raw Review by TheWrestlingGuy. Now, I know that I am too late uploading this review, but my PC was dead all day. But now, finally, I have it. So let's go to the review thing. We kick off Raw with the Authority standing tall in the ring and Brad Maddox. And I must say, Maddox, your time is up. You are no longer the general manager. Now that's what's best for business. The Maddox era is over. Cut down in its prime and cast into general manager infamy, thanks to the swift hand of the Authority, not to mention a final exclamation point provided by a former member of the corporate cabal. With Daniel Bryan yet to surrender the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and the Shield's insubordination growing day by day, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon decided to make a statement by handing Raw GM Brad Maddox his pink slip for allowing the Hounds of Justice to name themselves guest commentators on last week's Monday Night Raw. Before the Authority could pass sentence on Maddox, however, the one-time Director of Operations, Kane, arrived to provide the final word on Maddox's front office tenure. As Stephanie commanded Kane to teach him a lesson, the demon administered both a chokeslam and a tombstone piledriver on Raw's beleaguered figurehead, and then Stephanie fired him. Next on Monday Night Raw, Cesaro defeated the Mr. Monday Night Raw Van Dam. Now, I don't know why, but I know why. Actually, Cesaro deserves the big push that WWE is actually giving them right now. When the unstoppable force meets the immovable object, who comes out on top? The number one contenders to the Intercontinental and United States Championships, respectively, Raw Van Dam and Cesaro, dueled to solve that very query on Raw, with Bad News Barrett presiding over the bout from a post at the commentary table. Throughout the contest, the King of Swing used his infamous power to counter RVD's time-honed aerial attacks, transferring his forward momentum into gut-wrench suplexes and, at one point, snatching Mr. Monday Night clean out of the air and dropping him headfirst on the barricade. Van Dam got his mojo back in a big way, thrust-kicking Barrett in the face for kicks and setting the Swiss Superman up for a 5-star frog splash. But a second interference by Barrett distracted RVD long enough for Cesaro to claim the win with a German suplex. Though Sheamus was one hand to bro kick the Heyman guy into oblivion and shake his unconscious foe's hand, finally for good measure. It's all about sportsmanship, fella. Next on Monday Night Raw, Eva Marie defeated Summer Rae. Now finally the differences between Eva Marie and Summer Rae are settled. Seeing red doesn't quite cut it for Summer Rae, whose rivalry with Eva Marie on E's Total Divas finally made its way to the ring and ended in a disastrous upset for the golden-haired diva. To be fair, a third party played a big part in Summer's embarrassment. Despite Eva's eagerness to pay Summer back for swindling her out of a tag team victory on SmackDown, Summer ran roughshod over #AllRedEverything. That is, until Fandango and Layla made their entrance and engaged in another gratuitous round of tonsil hockey, leaving Summer so distraught Eva was able to snag the win with a roll-up. Next up on Monday Night Raw, the short man El Torito defeated Drew McIntyre. El Torito may have toppled a former Intercontinental Champion, but Hornswoggle's still feeling a little bullish towards his Horn rival. The Chosen One turned Torito into his personal brawling buddy for the majority of their contest, and it was only a brawl between Los Matadores and the rest of 3MB that allowed Torito to trip Drew up on the ropes and pin the former champion. That was when Hornswoggle pounced, cornering Torito with his bad mates and ripping his tail off with his bare hands. A show of barbarism that sent Torito high-stepping to the backstage area, while Los Matadores, the commentary team, and WWE Universe members all looked on an abject horror. Next on Raw, Bray Wyatt addressed John Cena. It's not just a song. According to Bray Wyatt, he truly does have the whole world in his hands. But it's not enough for the man of 1,000 truths to control the destiny of his flock. He must also understand his role in it. According to him, that is to be the necessary evil that will eradicate the so-called false idol, John Cena. And evidently, as a judge of sorts for the Jerry the King Lawler, who Wyatt summoned to the ring to answer for his vocal and unwavering support for the C Nation leader. Despite Lawler's reluctance and an attempt to heroism from JBL that ended ironically in a hellacious clothesline from Luke Harper, the Wyatts hauled Lawler into the ring for an impromptu trial that nearly ended in a disaster before Cena himself, along with the Usos, stormed the ring to make the save. Cena's final vows to stop the Eater of Worlds left the WWE Universe chomping at the bit. But Wyatt's no-challenge reaction suggested the task may be much easier said than done. Next, Rusev defeated Jack Swagger. Now, I don't know why WWE is giving such a big push to Rusev, making him win every single match he has, either on Raw or at SmackDown. Now, WWE has to stop it, or the fans are simply stop gonna watch WWE. Also because now Bryan will be out of action for a few months. No CM Punk, no Bryan. What the heck is happening? Now, I don't even want to talk about this match. Rusev defeated Zack Ryder. That's all. Next on Raw, Randy Orton and Batista defeated Cody Rhodes and Goldust. The only thing that I'm liking in WWE right now is the Shield Evolution feud. This has been far the most amazing segments by Evolution right now in the WWE. So, let's discuss the match now. Another week, another rough outing. Well, two, really, for Cody Rhodes and Goldust. Just months removed from their inspiring run as WWE Tag Team Champions, the beloved brothers hit yet another roadblock in the form of Randy Orton and Batista, who were given a match against the Brotherhood after some backstage jaw-jacking between the Brothers in Arms and the Brothers by Blood. Now, this match was a quite good match, and both duos battled to a dead heat for the better part of 10 minutes. Batista, in particular, seemed spurred into action by Goldust's skinny jean sellout comment earlier in the evening. The Bizarre One found himself isolated with the Animal for a long spell until he reached Cody, though two RKOs put the former Intercontinental Champion down. And then the match was recast, presumably by the Authority as an elimination match, and a second immediate 2-on-1 handicap no-holds-barred match pitting Goldust against both former world champions at once. The Bizarre One gave his all, but an RKO and Batista bomb spelled a quick, brutal end for the brothers' brave evening. Next up on Monday Night Raw, Bo Dallas defeated Sin Cara. Again, they let Dallas win another match against the same competitor. Okay, now that's okay. It's only his second match, so I'll take it. Say this much for Sin Cara. He certainly believed in himself during his rematch with newcomer Bo Dallas on Raw, a mulligan that the former NXT champion awarded the good sport he defeated in his debut match on SmackDown. The international icon certainly fought Dallas like he had something to prove, blasting him in the face with kicks and elbows in equal measure. Yet, the crisp Dallas, who celebrated every successful maneuver as if it was a world championship victory, proved the hardier believer. Next on Monday Night Raw, Stephanie McMahon demanded Daniel Bryan surrender the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this was a damn good segment. Bryan didn't surrender their titles, the same that the WWE Universe wanted. However, we love you, Bryan, and get well soon. First things first. Yes, Daniel Bryan is still the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And yes, the Champion of Champions paid dearly for his latest show of insubordination toward Stephanie McMahon. Or to be precise, his wife did. On Raw, Bryan made his faithful proud of resisting the authorities' latest attempts to deny him his hard-won glory. Yet, Stephanie's firing mood didn't end with Brad Maddox by a long shot. Unwilling to make Bryan a martyr by stripping him of the title, she instead delivered him an ultimatum: surrender the title at WWE Payback, or Brie Bella, the wife of Daniel Bryan, will be fired. Suddenly, the line between yes and no just got that much more profound. Next up on Raw, Emma defeated Alicia Fox. So, next, quite the debut of Adam Rose. Well, he defeated Damien Sandow. Okay, so next segment was US Champion Sheamus defeating Alberto Del Rio. The gold around Sheamus's waist is different, yet the song remains the same where Alberto Del Rio is concerned. The Celtic Warrior locked horns with his longtime rival in a non-title match on Raw, and once again came out with his Irish eyes smiling, despite some stiff resistance from the US Champion's most prevalent enemy in WWE. A dominant stretch by Del Rio seemed to only spur Sheamus into barbaric retaliation, although Del Rio's kicks to the head seemed to have done more damage than he thought. The Irishman suddenly went loopy right as he had Del Rio lined up for the brogue kick, and the essence of excellence struck, with another boot to the cheek that nearly got the job done. Nearly, though, wasn't enough, and Sheamus sprang forth with a last-ditch brogue kick to finish his foe off. Now, the final segment on Raw. The Shield and Evolution signed their contract for WWE Payback. The Shield may not have the combined tenure of Evolution, but they have been around long enough to know where contract signings typically led. So, the Hounds of Justice thought they'd taken control of their final sit-down before WWE Payback by dismantling the signing table and demanding Evolution to present themselves. Triple H and company obliged, and once the ink had dried, promised to send the trio back into obscurity with a victory at Payback. The Shield managed to goad Evolution into a brawl, but the game came prepared and produced a hidden sledgehammer to neutralize the Hounds of Justice, providing the exclamation point by taking out Roman Reigns with a triple powerbomb through the announcer's table. If anything else, the Shield's payback on Sunday will be swift, if they're in any condition to deliver it. Thanks for watching this video. Liked it? I hope you did. Then leave a thumbs up. Missed the Raw preview? Links are in description. This is The Wrestling Guy signing off for today. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.